Hey everybody, Christian Nix here. I just want to talk about in this video the basic presentation that you see from so-called natural healing gurus, people who offer advice on natural healing. It's the same presentation. So I saw this recently. It doesn't matter who this was. It doesn't matter who I'm talking about because most of these people are all reading from the same books. They all think the same way. They all believe the same things. They all tout the exact same culprits for chronic diseases. Inflammation, it's toxins, right? It's cellular level health, cellular level health. So I want to talk about that because it's very interesting that you see this over and over again. This was for, I think, a coaching program, or perhaps he's selling supplements. It's always like, it comes down to the same thing. His presentation started off talking about, I was sick and then this happened to me and that happened to me. I'm going through the same thing you're going through. And then I finally figured out what was really happening to me, and no doctor could help me and no doctor could tell me. And the culprit was my cells. My cells. I had problems at the cellular level. Why is this the wrong way to look at something like a chronic illness, any chronic illness? Why? I want to point out this, right? The problem with this kind of level of analysis where you look and you go, there's something going on at the cellular level. And what's going on at the cellular level? It's always the same things. It's inflammation, there's toxins, whatever a toxin is, it's a toxin. It's in your cells and you can't get it out, but he knows how to get it out of your cells, okay? Or this technique, or this supplement, or this whatever, right, that you're gonna follow treats at the cellular level. It's an unfalsifiable statement. You can't say that there's no inflammation. C-reactive protein is this typical blood marker that people look for with a chronic inflammatory kind of markers. If your doctor takes your blood to look for inflammatory signs and signs of inflammatory illness or signs of inflammation happening and reacting inside your body, they look at C-reactive protein. There's probably other ones, but that's the big one that's used on blood tests. And the problem is you could have inflammation and no elevation of C-reactive protein. You could have C-reactive protein elevated and not have inflammation. The test itself does not automatically line up to you do or you don't have inflammation. It's testing one kind of inflammation in a certain spectrum of your blood components, your analysis of what's actually inside your blood. But it doesn't automatically rule out that you do or don't have inflammation. So there's a problem with this kind of cellular level analysis, okay? And the fact that you see one natural healing guru after another go to a cellular level kind of explanation also tells you something. It tells you, right, that they all think the same thing about what's going on. Am I saying that inflammation doesn't play a part in chronic illness? No, of course it does. But it's not a powerful way to analyze what's happening to your body for reasons that I'll reveal in just a second. It is unfalsifiable. Toxins, right? Inflammation. You have inflammation. That's why you have it. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but people in the natural healing world love to do this. To me, this is so brain dead obvious. They do this muscle testing thing where they're like, okay, hold your arm out and now say this statement to yourself, like, oh, I have inflammation in my body. And then you go, okay, is my disease caused by inflammation? And then they press your arm like this. And like, so somebody else is over here, like pressing down on the arm. And they're saying that you can test your psyche by testing the strength of your muscles, right? I don't want to point out the obvious here, but I think anybody who can think rationally and like has any kind of critical thinking skills, does the practitioner who's performing that little sort of funny magic trick, do they have a vested interest in what is or isn't causing the patient's disease? If I stand here and say, oh, inflammation is part of my chronic illness and inflammation are causing my symptoms, okay, and this guy wants it to be inflammation, well, he can just kind of press harder and sort of make that point, right? This is the new age, right? Natural healing is full of new age thinking like that, where people go, hey, this is the one cause of all your illness. It's a toxin. Okay, how do we test for that? Like, where do we see that? And then they have a test that gets it, even though no other test gets it. Their test picks it up, right? And so it's unfalsifiable. Are we surrounded by toxins? Like, did you have milk or water that came out of a plastic bottle? Could be plastic toxins, right? Do you have chemicals for cleaning in your kitchen? Could be the cleaning toxins. It's toxins, right? Oh, you know, you're getting food that has pesticides sprayed on it. Could be pesticide toxins, right? It doesn't explain why a ton of people have no symptoms from being exposed to those things. If it's those things that cause disease, why doesn't everybody have some kind of reaction to it? And they would argue, no, everybody does, but right, you just can't see it all the time and whatever else. And like, fair enough. You know, in the end, like, this is not about what anybody else is saying. I'm explaining why the cellular level explanation is a bad way to look at chronic illness. And I'm going to teach you a better one here in a second. Okay? So everything, I call it the hoax. I call it the hoax. The hoax is like the muscle test. The hoax is, by the way, this is the real cause of chronic illness. You don't really know this, but I discovered it, and nobody else in medicine is talking about this. And it comes down to these things, right? You have toxins in your cells. You can't get nutrients into your cells. That's how they sell nutrient kind of supplements. Like, we're going to get you on a nutrient supplement, so you're going to get the nutrients at the cellular level. Like, wait a second, like the food you're eating doesn't also give, right, nutrients to your cells? Only this thing can give nutrients to your cells? I doubt it. I call it the hoax because it's based on kind of unfalsifiable claims. You can't say that toxins don't play a part in chronic illness. You can't say that inflammation doesn't play a part in chronic illness. Those things are true, but it doesn't explain why you have it or why other people may have exposure to toxins and inflammation and not be sick and not be miserable and not be stuck with a huge burden of symptoms on a daily basis. Usually if this is happening to you, it's happening to you at the level of digestion. It's the digestive system that breaks down. I call this the pivot. Right? The pivot is not just your digestive system, it's the part of your body that knows how to heal on its own. When you get out of balance, like you get tired or like something happens to you and your body's like running down and you get a kind of chronic imbalance, your body has a mechanism that fixes that. And when you do see chronic illness, it's because the mechanism, which is very closely related to digestion, but is also more than your digestive system, your body's ability to heal itself has taken a hit, right? It can no longer keep you upright and propped up and healthy and robust and resilient, right? And able to recover on its own, okay? So this cellular level analysis, people who tout this, first of all, they're all trained in Western medical theory, all of them. That's important, right? And the reason it's important is because the thinking that resulted in so much, like 60% of the population just in the US has at least one or more chronic conditions. If you walk around, you talk to enough people, you realize like a lot of people are struggling with chronic illness. So this cellular level analysis is a problem. And you know it's a problem because if thinking of chronic illness at the cellular level was true and all you had to do was eat a bunch of nutrients and then do a bunch of detox, right? So they have a supplement so you get nutrients, and then they have a program to detox your body. You have to detox. You got to detox your liver. You got to detox your blood. You got to detox your kidneys. Detox, detox, detox. People love this idea. It's so easy to grasp. Am I saying there's nothing to it? No, but it's not. If that's all that was required, nobody would have chronic illness. Nobody. It's impossible, right? They're saying that all chronic illness is caused by this. And he said 70 to 90% of all chronic illness is just inflammation. Okay, take a bunch of anti-inflammatories and it should go away, right? Oh no, because the toxins. No, we got to detox the toxins. Okay, and you hear this over and over and over again in so-called natural healing circles. And so the cellular level analysis is a bad analysis because, number one, it's false, right? It's unfalsifiable. You can't argue against it. So people fall for it. People believe that. They go, yeah, that's it. Of course it's toxins. That makes total sense to me. I'll take a bunch of detox. What does detoxing your body do? First of all, it's very hard on your organs. Anytime you're purging the body, if you're taking bitter, cold medicinals that help fight viral conditions, for example, or even herbal stuff, that's very, very hard on your pivot. It's very hard on your central system, your digestive and your self-healing system. Detoxing is very, very harsh on the body. People get crazy into detoxing and make themselves worse. People get crazy into like, oh, it's bacterial imbalance, right? That's part of the problem. I'll take a bunch of probiotics. And then they get sick from taking all these probiotics and they can't figure out, like, my God, I have an autoimmune disease. Like, what's going on? Stop taking probiotics. Right? Stop putting that into your body. There are costs to all of that, not least of which is the cost of your supplement, right? And your detox program. Most people, your body knows how to detox itself. You don't have to do 30-day cleanses and all the rest. Some of that is sometimes useful in certain circumstances, but it's not the first thing you should be doing. And you shouldn't rely on it to heal a chronic illness because most of the solutions that are proposed when you're treating the body at the cellular level will cause other problems. There's no free ride, right? If you want to detox your body, that's going to cost you. That's going to cost your body a lot. If you don't know how to do it, you just made yourself sicker. I've seen this over and over and over again. Most of the time, the answer is not a supplement. It's not another supplement. The answer to healing chronic illness is quite simply, you must understand your condition at the holistic level, at the level at which things connect, at the level at which this organ is affecting this organ. This symptom is related to this symptom over here. And that system is the ancient medical system that I discovered through my mentor and that I went and talked doctors about for about a decade, traveling, teaching, holding workshops, used to teach doctors on cruise ships. Tremendous fun. It's based on the pattern of your condition. Why does this matter? As I was saying, this part of your condition, the part where you wake up early and you have difficulty swallowing and maybe you feel hot in the afternoon and you got lots of mucus in the back of your throat, is related to the fact that you get bloating and gas and that your stools are sometimes dry and you don't have good elimination is related to your dry hair, your dry eyes, your brittle nails. Okay, these things are not unrelated, and you need to know how they do relate, and you can never discover how all of your symptoms relate by dealing with the cellular level reductionist kind of methodology. It's not designed for that. It's designed for cellular health, right? It's designed for this argument. My statement to you is, don't treat it at the cellular level. Your body knows how to deal with that. Your body's designed for that. You're not going to affect your ATP, right? Whatever they're measuring, right? The big obvious blaring sirens in most people's chronic conditions, certainly in chronic digestive health, are really simple. They're really easy to notice. If you go through the checklist of symptoms that I sent you, and I'll put it below this video, if you go through this checklist of symptoms, if you run down this and you understand, oh, this organ is causing these symptoms, this organ is causing these symptoms, and then I show you, which I will do in the next video, how your condition, how this organ is causing problems in this organ, how this organ relates to that organ, how this organ's symptoms over here is also causing some portion of this, how these things actually relate and interact. The solutions are the easy part. The solutions are really easy, right? The solutions are so instinctive and intuitive and so logically obvious. If you have too much heat in your liver, cool the liver. If your spleen is weak and you got dampness building up inside your body, well, boost the spleen and get the dampness out of your intestines, right? If your intestines are dry and you can't move your bowels because you got dry stools, moisten your intestines. There's easy, simple, really, really obvious ways that you can take control of your own condition. That's what I discovered in the forest of Guatemala all these decades ago. And that's what I bring to people in my free training. It's called the Pivot Protocol. This is where I show you how to apply ancient medical thinking and principles. Anybody can learn this. It takes about an hour, right, for you to really grasp, like, okay, here's how we're going to treat our chronic illness. I've showed this to tens and even hundreds of thousands of people over the last 5 years. This is, some of the things that people say. You can catch on your screen here or possibly below this video. People who have come through this kind of understanding and figure out, like, oh my God, this makes so much sense to my experience. This is what's happening to you. This is how you think of your condition. These are the kind of tools and logical understanding that shows you, like, oh, this thing is related to that. This is being caused by this organ. Oh, that makes total sense. Let me cancel that out. Using simple food combinations, nothing fancy, no expensive supplements, right? By and large, I mean, it's not like there's no place for supplements, but in a different way than thinking about them the way the cellular health guys talk about this, okay? I created a free 1-hour training. You can check that out below this video. And also I put together a private community where if you want help, you can actually get my help each week, where we design a plan that you go execute based on your symptoms. Like I've said elsewhere, the only best diet is the one that's best for you. So we're going to figure out what's best for you based on your symptoms. And then as your symptoms begin to change, right, and your condition starts to move around, you're going to change what you're doing so that you keep healing by canceling out the new symptoms. Okay? This is the only way that I know of to reliably kick chronic disease to the curb for good. And it's a process that once you learn it, you can just do this endlessly for the rest of your life. You just keep canceling out whatever's coming up for you as you age and your body is sort of changing, and right, certain things are working less well as you get older, year after year, but you know how to react to them so your body stays healthy. Your body stays robust and resilient, because there's never a time when you're adding to your condition out of pure ignorance and you have symptoms that are coming on, you're like, oh, I don't know what's causing that. And you keep drinking your coffee with milk and sugar or whatever. And you're like, I don't know why I have dampness. I don't know why my liver's so hot. I can't figure out why I have these symptoms. What's going on here? It's like, no, you know exactly what's causing them. You know exactly what to do to cancel them out. Okay? That's what I want to share with you. That's what I discovered. It made a huge difference in my life, and I've been able to teach this now to thousands and thousands of people thanks to the internet. And I even traveled and shared this with doctors, so you know it's legit at the highest levels of medicine. And the best of all, like, I've learned to teach this to people as young as 10 and 12 years old. Okay, and taught it to moms who taught it to children even younger, right? So it's very simple. It's something that anybody can learn and you can start applying today. Check out the free training, and then check out also the private community I put together for you. And that's enough out of me. I'll be back in another video. Remember, your body knows how to heal on its own.